Women who migrated from a socially conservative country to a progressive country. How significantly has your life changed?
According to my mum, it's the little things. After a couple of years in Canada, my mum started wearing skirts. Nothing too revealing, maybe knee length or lower, and she loved it. She had her first sip of alcohol when she was 31. Loved the feeling of being tipsy after one beer. On the more serious side, she got to fully express herself to my dad, after 20 years of marriage. Her Canadian girlfriends told her about couples counseling, the love languages, etc. And she communicated to my dad the things she wanted to change. I don't know the details, but they seem much happier now than they were when I was a teenager.
I worked for a few years with an Iranian woman. Listening to her life story was like nothing else. Her life went from being consumed by the control of her father, his firm reins on her virginity, including annual checkups by a doctor, to moving to Paris to study medicine and ultimately working in a hospital in the US where she finally settled down and had a daughter of her own. She'd come to me with all kinds of questions of what is normal for an American teen, how to explain things and if it was okay for her daughter to use tampons. I can't even imagine how grossly different her daughter's life is from her own. She said that's what broke her, imagining ever having a daughter born into the same world she was. It made her realize she had to leave, she couldn't perpetuate that culture onto her children. I've met few people ever to be as strong and fight as hard for her freedom. The States are messed up in a lot of ways, but I never realized how bad it really can be for women elsewhere.
I had a friend who was so excited to see sparkle sneakers. She wanted them so bad, but she could never buy them since back home, where she had to return after college, they would get her in big trouble. She looked at them like they were a puppy but wouldn't even try them on.
I asked my friend, he doesn't use the internet, this question, and he said that when he first got to America he was invited to a public pool. He said he nearly had a stroke when he saw women in bikinis for the first time. He was used to them only wearing burqas, so it made him feel like he was in a women's bathroom by accident the while time they were there. Another was when I took him to a gay bar. Everyone there being happy and open about it made him start crying. His brother had been killed for being gay years before he made it to the States. Edit: he doesn't use the internet because he is paranoid.
Not me, but my mom. She was born and raised in Turkey, not the most conservative in the Middle East, in fact probably one of the most liberal, but still very different from the US, came to the US for her master's, met my dad here, and has been a citizen for over 2 decades now. I've heard stories of how my grandmother wasn't allowed to work. In Turkey, women at the time needed legal permission from their husband/father to work, because my grandfather thought women were incapable of thinking for 1 week a month. My mom was accused of holding hands with a guy friend by an uncle, which spurred lots of family drama, which wasn't even true. When my mom told her parents she wasn't Muslim, they didn't believe her, and the topic has never come up since. Just recently, I had an injury from a minor MVA, and my grandmother told my mom to circle salt on my head 3 times, and was disappointed when my mom said she did not memorize a specific prayer to help heal me, from the Quran. She always described how when she came off of her flight, stepping foot in the US for the first time, she felt like she was finally home. She can do what she wants, say what she truly believes, without public and family shame, and has gotten comfortable telling off people who deserve it. She recently told me that after my grandmother passes, she never wants to go back. It's also weird, because Turkey was a lot more liberal/relaxed/Western like when she was growing up, compared to now. President Erdogan is undoing a lot of work Turkey's founder, Ataturk, kinda like the Turkish George Washington, fought so hard for. She feels like she doesn't even recognize it. TLDR, my mom feels like she can be herself now. Edit: corrected that needing husband/father permission to work is no longer needed.
I've got a spoiled first world example for you. I was born and raised in rural Utah to a conservative Mormon family, then grew up in Illinois, eventually moved to Greece, and now live in New Zealand. It's shocking to see how absolutely oppressively conservative rural Mormons are compared to the overtly conservative rural bits of the American Midwest, compared to the moderately conservative Greek Orthodox community to the Labour Party-led New Zealand I live in. I'm a lesser person in Utah. That's really the gist of it. I, an unmarried, childless woman who is 29, am pitied and shamed. In the Midwest I'm a shoulder shrug example of she should have married that one guy and settled down. In Greece I was that girl who minded her business and was left alone but would be wifey material. and in New Zealand I'm taken seriously in my career and capable of making autonomous decisions that were inaccessible in the US and in Greece. It's a shame I hate New Zealand for other reasons.
Marjane Satrapi tells in her comic format book Persepolis an amazing story that sheds light on how life can be for Iranian women. She now lives in France. Her book is very eye-opening. Highly recommended.
The first time I went outside showing my tattoos and no one looked at me like a freak was surreal. I'm not even that tattooed, just mostly on my legs. But people back home, South America, used to cross the street if they saw me walking down the street showing my tattoos. Can't wait to actually be able to make out with another girl in public and not be shamed for my sexual preferences.
I was 4 when I moved to the Netherlands in 1979. Moving to the Netherlands gave me the opportunity to escape my human trafficking, arranged marriage at 17. And live my life according to my rules. When I escaped, I left the culture and religion behind. Stuff I wasn't allowed to do. Cut my hair short, wear makeup, use tampons, go out with friends, drink alcohol, study what I wanted, have a boyfriend, tell people from the same culture off which people give me grief for having the audacity to live on my own and be child-free, as a woman, how dare she? People from the same and or similar backward honor cultures.
Moved to the US when I was 17, now 23. I was free to wear miniskirts, drink in public, and hang out with male friends without having my moral character trashed. There's an undercurrent of rape hysteria that's very real but seldom explicitly talked about. My dad would freak out if I spent any time in my male cousin's room, despite the fact that we grew up in the same house and were around the same age. Your movements are stifled because every man who's not your dad or brother is treated like a potential danger to your chastity.
Not me but my grandma and aunt. They moved from Lebanon to Canada, which gave them a lot of job opportunities. Edit. It's because of the instability they moved.
Just going to leave this here. It has subs so y'all can understand. I actually did the opposite. Was born and brought up outside India but came here because I wanted to learn more about my culture, plus my dad was missing home, so we came back. Worst mistake of my life. It's horrible out here for girls, especially. The thing is, most men in this country are like that. Not all but most of them are. Mothers' boys, think girls are their property and just because they're men they are superior. In my own family I've seen my Aunt Mary, arranged into such a horrible family because of stupid beep like caste, religion, etc. that was imposed on her. I've seen women who are so well educated and open-minded marry into families which are the complete opposite. It breaks my heart, tbh. And oh, did I mention that a woman got stabbed in public in broad daylight by her husband because she wanted to go to her job? She worked in a hospital and despite COVID she wanted to do her duty. And the husband assumed she's cheating on him and stabbed her whilst people made videos. On the other hand, if you're seen holding hands with a guy or kiss a guy in public, you bet your ass are ending up in jail or berated brutally in public. And this happened in the capital city, so yeah, incredible India indeed.
I moved from PH to Singapore. Now I can wear anything I want in the streets.
It's be funny to ask the same question to a man from these countries. How long did it take you to realize your old social norms are now hate crimes? And deservingly so.
Probably not high on the list of conservative nations, but we moved from India to the USA and then to Canada. Finally feel at home here. Do I need to say more?
I can masturbate in peace.
May your day be filled with joy and happiness. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more quality content every day.